You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds.
Donald Trump just dropped a bombshell. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got Trump coming out and saying that CUSMA, the USMCA agreement, is pointless. It's not needed, at least not for America. There's also a new bill in America being put forward for annexation of Greenland. We've got a ton of updates here. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got Robert Fife commenting on this China Daily post here saying, China Daily editorial, Mark Carney government needs to demonstrate that its willingness to strengthen cooperation with China is not just a makeshift move to reduce the bill being charged by the US. If Ottawa still chooses to subject its China policy to the will of Washington again in the future, it will only render its previous efforts to mend with Beijing in vain. So Robert Fife commenting on this saying China propaganda mouthpiece tells Mark Carney to be subservient to Beijing as he embarks on his all-important visit to the world's second largest economy. No commitment though to stop interference in Canadian domestic affairs. And then we've got CBC watcher fact-checking Robert Fife here saying, sweet lord of hypocrisy, Fife forgets his own taxpayer subsidized publication has been running China Daily China Watch inserts to enable this nonsense. China propaganda starts with Fife's employer, Canada's richest family-owned publication. Just a little self-awareness. Ouch. And we got this one here. Via rail train derailed in Quebec after hitting 2 trucks. They were parked on the rail tracks, not realizing that it was an active railroad. As we see here, we're all thinking the same thing. Were these Canadian truck drivers that parked those trucks there? Probably not. Moving ahead, this post here of Mark Carney with his cargo ship that I showed yesterday. Well, we've got Kevin O'Leary making fun of him here. I love this, but it's zero revenue for Canada. How about a pipeline to European or Asian markets now that Venezuela has replaced us in the US market? No one gives a shh about Lego. Ouch. Something else to note. Did Mark Carney put this together himself? I believe this is at his house in Ottawa. FYI, I did find his house in Ottawa, which I'll bring up in a later episode when it's relevant. And here we've got an update situation on Michael Ma. There's still people out protesting him. This is good to see.
The cost of that.
There is a cost.
Your heart, all right? You really want to serve people, no matter it's a federal level or provincial level. We had a talk about
these people aren't having it. Like, they're out there in the cold. Moving ahead, we've got this one from Trending Politics. China to offer Canadian canola relief in exchange for relaxing Chinese EV tariffs. And I wonder if Mark Carney's going to take this bait, because what would be the easiest way to piss off Donald Trump? It's to ease up the EV tariffs. America brought these tariffs in and Justin Trudeau and the Liberals matched them. So if they remove them, this will piss off the Americans, as this will send a signal that we're not standing in lockstep with America anymore. And it's a way that China is able to send products into America. They do this through Mexico too. If they can't get it into America, they just send it to either Canada or Mexico, and then it comes in that way. And America's come out and said they won't even allow Chinese EVs to even drive into America because there's spy cameras on wheels. I wonder if this is the strategy Carney's going to take, piss off Donald Trump, have another election. And a little update out of Taiwan. Here we got a picture of conservative MPs Adam Chambers, Melissa Landsman, and Shelby Camp, who have stayed in Taiwan. Meanwhile, Mark Carney sent all his MPs home because he's bowing to Xi Jinping. Moving ahead, we've got this bombshell out of Reuters. Trump says USMCA is irrelevant for the U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday said the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, USMCA, is irrelevant for the U.S., but Canada wants it as he pushed for companies to bring manufacturing back to American soil. He says there's no real change to it. It's irrelevant. Trump said Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it. Trump made the comments as he toured the Ford Motor Company factory in Dearborn, Michigan, ahead of a speech on the economy he's scheduled to deliver in Detroit. So these are just offhanded comments he made at the Ford Motor Company, but I mean, this is telling us where his mind is going right now. And Mark Carney's going to use this. He's like, oh, the scary Donald Trump is ripping up USMCA. We have to be even more elbows up. He's going to put us further in bed with China here, especially since these statements are being made right now and Carney's going over to China right now. Someone asked me the other day if we've hit the bottom yet in Canada. I don't think so. I don't think we're at the bottom. We don't know what rock bottom is yet.
Think you're going to renegotiate USMCA?
Well, I can. It expires very shortly.
Yeah.
And we could have it or not. It wouldn't matter to me. I think they want it. I don't really care for it.
So it might go away. So you guys are not getting rid of us.
No real advantage to us. It's irrelevant to me. Canada would love it. Canada wants it. They need it. Because we don't need Canada product. That's the thing. You know, I want to be a nice person, but we don't need it. I want to build the cars here, not in Canada. We used to build cars in Canada. Now, the Canada cars, the Canadians are moving here to build cars. Same thing with Mexico. Same thing with Japan. Japan's paid us billions and billions of dollars for the privilege of making cars here and selling cars.
What about the raw materials coming in from countries like Canada? How do these companies deal with the fact that those raw
Well, we
materials
get it.
are more
We have a lot of our own raw materials. And, you know, the word raw and rare are a little bit of a misnomer. They're not very rare. We have a lot of places that want to sell us material, and we get it from a lot of different countries, and we have a lot of rare earth and raw materials.
So what Trump's doing here is projecting strength. He's using his typical negotiating tactic where he over-embellishes his position and then pulls back and makes a deal on what's best for America. In reality, if he completely ripped up CUSMA, it would be bad for America. It'd be even worse for Canada. They do need our critical minerals, or they need somebody's critical minerals, and they do need our raw materials like steel, aluminum, etc. Technically, they could get them from somewhere else. It's cheaper to get it right over the border than it is sticking it on a boat from Ukraine or somewhere far away. Either way, Mark Carney could have made a deal already. He could have already had this one buttoned up, and he's dragging this out, I think intentionally, to use Donald Trump in the next election. And this just is awful for Canadians. Canadians losing their jobs across this country, and I don't think people will make the mistake again of voting for Mark Carney, at least the ones who've lost their jobs. I wonder if this is in reaction to Carney's China trip. Yeah, the timing is very suspicious. Like, Carney's going over there literally right now. He just left Prince Rupert probably like a couple hours ago, and Donald Trump is coming out with this like probably, I don't know what the timeline is, probably like an hour afterwards. Like, it's very close. Trump setting the tone for Carney and CUSMA 2026. Must be completely obvious to virtually everyone by now that Carney is not a deal maker and probably was not allowed anywhere near the bond trading desk when at GS, Goldman Sachs. Ouch. So Trump goes on to talk more about the American auto manufacturing.
But they're just saying their business is better than ever. They're doing 24 hours, Jim, now, 60 round the clock, and they do expansions, and they're building more plants in the United States because of tariffs. And Jim said, and Bill very strongly confirmed, they've never seen anything like it. In all of the years that they've been in business, they've never seen what's happening now.
It's so funny. These two guys from Ford, they look so awkward and so stressed out. The body language is wild on these guys.
Like it, so it's a great honor. But so this plant, you might talk about it. This plant goes 24 hours around the clock. Before, it used to go 3 hours around the clock.
No, it will. So we're adding a third shift, and it's going to be running, as the president said, 24 hours, 6 days a week. And that just shows the demand there is for this product, which is the best-selling product, as you all know, in America. And it just gets hotter and hotter. So we have a great relationship with the president and his whole staff. They've been great to work with for us. He personally is incredibly responsive every time we need something or call. We very much appreciate it. And we couldn't be more excited. We're adding market share. We're growing as a company. We're adding jobs, not just here, but elsewhere. This is where times are good for us.
And all of the U.S. automakers now are doing great. And before, they were having a really hard time.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, the tariffs are really slamming some of these automakers. But it comes down to it, he's trying to pull as many of these companies back to America. And in the long run, we'll see how this plays out. Now, just imagine if, say, tomorrow or a couple days from now, Mark Carney announces with Xi Jinping that Canada is going to be allowing Chinese EVs to be sold in Canada. This is a powder keg waiting to explode. There's a reason why Donald Trump just went to a Ford Motor Company here and did this and mentioned all this stuff about CUSMA. He's sending a shot across the bow to Mark Carney, who's currently flying to China right now. This is a powder keg waiting to explode. A bunch of people asking what vehicle it is. I'm pretty sure they're talking about Ford F-150. We also got this one coming out of America. Huge news today. I'm proud to announce Greenland Annexation and Statehood Act. This is coming from Congressman Randy Fine, a bill that allows the president to find the means necessary to bring Greenland into the Union. So it's not likely that this bill will pass. It's going to get struck down, but they're trying to bring this in to give Donald Trump the power to annex Greenland. And here's the official release here. As global competition intensifies in the Arctic, the United States cannot afford to allow adversarial powers to gain influence over the world's most strategically important regions. Greenland is not a distant outpost we can afford to ignore. It is a vital national security asset. So with that, we got Donald Trump on Air Force One giving his comments.
But Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds. Greenland should make the
That's hilarious. That's the second time that's come up. I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't matter. That's hilarious. Here we've got Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen announcing, if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark here and now, we choose Denmark, we choose NATO and the Kingdom of Denmark and the EU. This is all in Greenlandic or Kalaallisuit, their national language.
Nu står vi med en geopolitisk krise. Og hvis vi skal vælge mellem USA og Danmark her og nu.
So it kind of sounds like German, actually. We've also got this, which is funny. It's a Denmark AGM II-4R Hellfire missiles release coming out of Washington. You can see this January 8th, 2026, as in just like a couple days ago. The State Department has made the determination approving a possible foreign military sale to the government of Denmark for Hellfire missiles and related equipment for an estimated $45 million. The American government approving Hellfire missile sales to Denmark, and then you have conflict with Denmark and Greenland. Here we have got Donald Trump putting NATO on notice.
2% and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
Would you pull the U.S. out of NATO? Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. But I like NATO. You know, I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spend a lot of money on NATO. I'm not sure they would.
It's a good question. Would NATO be there for America? I don't know either. Here we've got boots on the ground of a YouTuber interviewing people in Greenland what they want to do.
Hard way.
What do you think about the United States buying Greenland?
No more Danish.
Why do you guys not like the Danish?
Liar.
Good or bad idea for Greenland to become a part of the United States?
USA and Greenland? I think it's okay. It's good.
So if the United States were to buy Greenland and you were able to get $20,000, would you do it?
I will not say yes for money. For Greenland or money. I will just Greenland. We live in Greenland. He cannot buy this.
For $100,000, would you guys sell Greenland? If each citizen of Greenland got $100,000, would you sell your country?
Yes.
But you said Greenland is not for sale, but you'd sell it for $100,000.
Money is money.
I mean, that's just it. You offer enough money, they'll say yes. Impressively enough, this is Nick Shirley, the same guy who blew up the whole Minnesota, Somalia fraud scandal thing with the daycares. And he's out there asking these guys what's going on. I mean, boots on the ground.
Boy will understand.
Do you think it would be better for you guys to become part of the United States versus being part of Denmark?
Of course, there's some benefits to America. We would have a way bigger military, and we would be safe from invasions in case of a war or something. If the Third World War comes, I don't know how much it would matter with all the nuclear weapons and stuff. But there would probably be some Russians coming from Greenland to go to America and stuff as a vantage point.
This guy's voice super low. You notice these people very logical, thinking about this in very logical ways. I think just enough money and they'll say yes. And from the one guy there, 20 grand's not enough, 100K's enough. That's why I think if Trump just goes in there, offers 100K to everyone, he might get bite on it. The only problem is that would create massive amounts of inflation. So I don't know what the plan is for that. I don't know if do you give them 20,000 or 10,000 straight up and then another 10,000 for every year going 10 years or 20,000 every year going 5 years going forward. I don't know how you would reduce the inflation by just injecting that much money into the country because the cost of goods would go up. Moving ahead, we've got a story out of Calgary where a realtor was showing a basement suite to a man, showed this suite to the guy twice, and the second time he thrust himself upon her and tried to essay her, and she pulled out a knife and poked him, and now the guy perished. Now, I bring this up because I fear for the woman in this story, because in Canada, if the guy wasn't using a knife on her, is she going to go to jail?
The woman in her 30s who was taken to hospital in stable condition was acting in self-defense. On Friday, the woman was showing the man the basement suite of a rental home on Edgemont Court Northwest. Important to note, this was the second time she was showing the man in his 40s the unit. While viewing the unit, he attacked her in the basement. He would make aggressive advances towards her, which put her life in danger. She eventually stabbed him, acting in self-defense, leading to his death. She had to be taken to hospital in stable condition.
So the question is, are they going to charge her because if he didn't have a knife, then this is aggressive force or whatever the stupid laws we have here, where you're not allowed to use something more dangerous than what your attacker is using. And you look in the comments, people are all saying the same thing here. Like, is she going away for this because she had to defend her own life? We've got some updates here out of Australia. It says breaking: the Australian government government plans to make Islamophobia punishable up to 5 years in prison with new H-word speech laws rushed in after the Bondi jihadist terror lord attack. Can't make this stuff up. Here's Prime Minister Albanese speaking on this.
The legislation will then be debated on Tuesday in the House of Representatives. We intend to have that legislation pass the House before question time.
These woke left leaders are all compromised. And we got this one. UK government have just announced new laws making it illegal to create non-consensual intimate images of others using AI. And it goes on to mention here it's been 209 days since they announced a grooming gang inquiry with no progress being made at all. Of course, they want those gangs going around and doing their ravenous activities because they're all compromised.
And it is monetizing abuse.
Yep.
So let me be crystal clear. Under the Online Safety Act, sharing intimate images without someone's consent or threatening to share them, including images of people in their underwear, is a criminal offense.
So somebody on X posted pictures of children in bathing suits on all sorts of websites that you can buy, like Wayfair and Amazon and whatever, just to prove a point that they're attacking X and Grok and Elon Musk. And Elon has even come out himself here, and he's opening up algorithms so they can see exactly what's going on. Elon Musk is making X's entire algorithm public January 17th, every line of code showing what posts you see and why. And they're updating them every 4 weeks with developer notes. This is in direct response to France classifying X as an organized gang and the same legal designation they use as street candy cartels and mafia, so they could wiretap employee phones and demand algorithm access. The EU wants to control what people see online. They fined X 140 million last month, launched probes into algorithm abuse, and demanded researchers get data access. This is all out of control. Like, these governments are all compromised. I mean, look at this nonsense here. We've got a woman arrested in the UK over inaccurate post.
We have some breaking news now, and a woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to an inaccurate information on social media about the attacker in the Southport murders. It says a 55-year-old woman from near Chester was arrested earlier today, Thursday the 8th, of course, on suspicion of publishing written material to stir up racial hatred and false communications. She is currently being held in police.
So she made some post about a murderer that they're saying is not factually true, so they're going to arrest her. This country is so far gone.
Is a stark reminder of the dangers of posting information on social media platforms without checking the accuracy.
Well, maybe they should be arresting Mark Carney too. The guy comes out the beginning of his campaign and saying Canada's the biggest supplier of semiconductors to America. That's false. He has so many false statements. Are they going to come arrest him? Are they going to arrest every Liberal in the House of Commons every week for all the lies they tell? I'm sure the politicians in the UK are lying in Parliament too.